Hey guys, welcome to another brand new tutorial. So in this tutorial I'm going to talk about how to create this liquid ribbon effect, right? I can see which is going around the bottle, and we have a little bit of motion on the ribbon, and that's cool, right? So then let's go ahead and talk about everything from scratch. So in this one I also want to talk about a little bit about the lighting, and so let's get started. Right, so guys, first of all I'll disable my liquid. I also want to disable this one, so I'll go ahead and disable this one as well. So we have a path. I'm going to disable this one as well. Right, so we have the bottle. Also I have included this project file in my Gumroad, so if you want to download that, completely free. So here we have a bottle, just a normal bottle. So I have an empty, so I have paired all these components of the bottles to this object right here, so we can simply animate that. So if you go here into the animation real quickly, I can see I have a simple animation, just a rotation animation here. So that's it. So now we have a plane at the back, which is my background. So we have added a material with a little bit of dark green, and all the other stuff are exactly the same. So if you go here into my studio setup, you can see a giant ball. So I have linked all these studio setup lights, cameras, backgrounds, and everything to this empty object. It helps us to organize things easily and also animate things easily. Apart from the background, so we have another light here. So this is just a point light, which also gets us a rim light actually. So we have a bright rim light which helps us to separate the bottle from the background, right? So that's all. And then we have another two lights. These are not lights actually, so these are basically a plane with materials. Let me show you that. So we have a spotlight here, and this one also a spotlight. That's why I have hide these objects from my scenes, otherwise those are going to be captured by the camera. So you can simply do that here in the object data properties, and then you can go here into the visibility. Under the ray visibility, you can see the camera is unchecked, so that's why you can see that under the normal camera viewport. Yeah, so that's it. And if I go ahead into my material shade editor real quickly, I'll show you the material as well. So you can see that is just a simple material with the emission node, and then we have a color ramp to control the light intensity and then the shape of the light, because having this kind of light instead of just a point light or a plain light, it gives us some gradient light effect on the bottle. Specifically if you have a shiny material on your product, these lights are really helpful. And also we have a gradient texture. We have set up like spherical, we have also a linear, as you can see. So I'll turn it back to the spherical. So that's pretty much it guys about the lighting. And also we have another one right here. You can see that is another plane. That's not a light, but that is another plane which also gets some of the bouncing light because we have a little bit of lighting up from the front, so that is just the reflections of that plane. So if you go ahead into that plane, and then this is my material. So we have a little bit of gray, a little bit of darker material because if I get it much more high intense in color, you can see the front of the bottle is going to be much more bright. I think having a little bit darker, we can have that 3D look of the bottle. So yeah, so that is all the things about the lighting setup of the project. So let's jump into the ribbon effect then. First of all, if I go here into my ribbon back again to take a look on that, so this is my ribbon, and if I go here into the modifiers, you can see this is not liquid. It is not liquid simulation. It's simple mesh with these modifiers. We have a couple of modifiers, so that's all. So I'll hide this and I'll tell you how to do this. So I'll get my timeline back, and then we'll go here into the first frame. So my bottle is just on the plane, I think. Yeah, anyways. And then I'll create a plane, a simple plane, and say this is going to my liquid, right? So I'll make it a little bit smoother. First of all, I'll enable my keys, then you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, and so I'll make it a little bit lengthier like that, and then I'll make it smaller in the y-axis. Basically I want to create a lengthy ribbon like that. So then I'm gonna go apply my scale, and then we are jump into the edit mode. And so I'll add a loop cuts, couple of loop cuts. Actually you need a considerable amount of loop cuts. So then I'm gonna go apply another modifier. This one's going to be solidify. So we are getting a little bit of solidify to this, and so I'll increase the thickness just like that. So then I'll collapse this, and then I'll apply another one, which is subdivision surface modifier, and so I'll shade smooth this. Right, now let's increase the level of viewport to 2. In this case actually the level of viewport should not be increased more than 2, because we actually want 2 subdivision surface modifier down the line, so keep in mind. And then I'll go here into the edit mode again. I'll select my whole ribbon like that. So we go up here in the mesh and then transform and randomize. Now you can see some kind of a randomization on my ribbon, and then you have a little window right here. In the randomization options, you can increase the amount like that, which is getting some random number on my ribbon, which is more organic. So I'm going to keep this number here, and then I'll go apply another modifier. This time we're going to apply the displacement modifier. So this displacement modifier is helping us to get a little bit of thickness to this. Basically that is going to displace this vertices according to a texture map. So we are going to create a new texture here where we can type in something like liquid whatever, and then I'll go here into the texture and we have a texture. So you can go here to the type, and then I'll select cloud. So since we are in the edit mode, we can actually see the effect of the cloud texture. So I have to go back to object mode, right? Then you can see my ribbon has a great displacement going on. So I have to reduce this number. So you can reduce the number a little bit like that. In some cases you can see these red faces. That's because I have actually enabled my face orientations. That's not a real problem, because if you are using this one to a regular animations or simple rendering, inverted normals are not a big of a problem. But in any case, if you want to get rid of those, so you can simply go here into the mid level and you can increase that mid level a little bit like that, right? I'll adjust this a little bit somewhere around here. I think that's good. Now we have a really organic looking ribbon, but which is a little bit jaggedy and which is not really good. So I want to apply another subdivision surface modifier, as I said before. So I'm going to go here into the displace. I'll apply the subdivision surface modifier once again. So this time I'll also increase the level viewport to 2, and then you can see that is smooth. Okay, so the next step, guys, I want to get some liquid spills, like liquid bubbles around this. In order to do that, I'll go back to my edit mode and I'll select some of these portions. I'll copy that. I can see those are like little small bubbles, and then I'll copy that again and then place somewhere here. So then you can go a little bit closer and you can manually adjust these a little bit. Right? So if I go here into the object mode, now you can see, and also I'll do something here in the edit mode again. I want to get something like some sort of a randomness to these, the ribbon like that. It's totally up to you. You can create some kind of like that. So that's all about the liquid, and then we can real quickly create a path, a curve to move our ribbon around it. So we're gonna go here into the mesh. So we are going to create a path real quickly. So I'll go here into the Bezier code, then move it somewhere here. I'll real quickly edit the path. The path is not important, so you can create any path you want basically. So I'll real quickly create this path, and then I created my path like that. So then so you can go ahead into the liquid ribbon again, and then I'll go apply the curve modifier here. So I'll get my dropper, and then I'll pick my path like that. Right, now you can see it is already in the path, already snapped to the path. So we can go ahead and then select this, and so we can change the X direction like that. Now the direction is actually a location along the x-axis, so you can see it is moving along that. Sometimes the deformation doesn't work properly. In that case, you have to change this to y. In my case, it's working actually in x direction. It's totally because of the rotations of the object, so you have to try it out. So then you can animate simply within the transform. Like, let's say I want my animations to start at here, so I'll go ahead and insert a keyframe here, and then we go to the end frame, and I'll move my ribbon around this all the way to end, somewhere like this, and then I'll insert another keyframe here. So now you can see it is moving around the bottle. So the next thing I most of the time do is I want it to be a little bit slowed down at the end of the animation. So we can simply do that if you go here into the graph editor. So I'll normalize this real quickly like this, and then we can simply pick this part here, so we can simply scale down. So each part is going to be a little bit faster, and so at the end this needs to be a little bit slower, right? So if you play this, you can see it is kind of moving fast, and then at the end it's getting slower, right? And also another thing I most of the time do is I shift these keyframes outside of my timeline. In that way we can keep the ribbon moving always when we start in the animation, right? It's like it never ends, right? Slowly moving and it never ends. Right, that's nice. So that is it. So then real quickly I'll create my second ribbon as well. So let's go ahead into the edit mode again. I'll go select all these ribbon, and then I'll duplicate this like that. Everything is going to be exactly the same, so I'll keep everything here, and then I'll separate this second one. You can see it is kind of moving like this. So for now so I want to change my shape of the second one a little bit, so I'll disable my curve for a while. I'll scale here into the edit mode again, and then I'll select this. So I'll go here into the mesh transform and randomize again, and I can change my seed number to a different one. So this is going to get us a kind of bit different form of my first ribbon. I'll go back to my curve and enable that, and then you can play this. Right now you can see it is moving around like that. So now we can apply the material. So I'll real quickly go here and add a new material to the first one. So this is going to be a little bit shiny, and then the second one I'll create a new material. So this time I'll get my dropper. I actually want that to be a little bit green, and then I'll reduce the roughness, and also I'll increase the transmissions to make it something like that. Now if you notice that we had some small bubbles inside that transparent liquid, so that is basically this one. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly create that effect. So I'll go ahead and create another UV sphere, so we kind of make it smaller like that, and then I'll apply my scale like this. So we are going to create some particle systems. So real quickly I'll add a particle system and set it to here. I'll go to viewport, so that's going to be a little bit messier, so we can go ahead and turn on my x-ray. So I want to see through this. So I'll go ahead and then change the render to object. I'll go ahead and then select the sphere just we created, and now we can see simply that is created some bubbles inside. So I also want to add the same material to my bubble, so I'll go ahead and apply the same material. So we can simply go here into this source. So I'll change the emit from to volume, which should get us something like that, but still we can see the bubbles are on the surface. That's the reason, because if you go into the modifiers, we can see that solidify is just modify. We haven't applied that modifier. So if you want the bubble effect to the liquid ribbons, you have to apply the solidify modifier. Now you can see suddenly that bubbles are going to go inside. And then I'll also apply this one. Yeah, that's much better. Maybe we can also apply the displacement if you want, but still you can see some of these are outside. We can simply fix that by reducing the hair length a little bit. I increase the jitter amount as well. Remove the even distributions and random distributions for now, and then still these bubbles are too large. I'll reduce the size a little bit, and then increase the count to 3000. So we can see some of the bubbles are outside of the surface. I don't have a method right now to make everything inside most of the time, so we also can change this randomness of this a bit. I think we can enable the random mode actually. Okay, right now you can see some of the bubbles inside of the liquid. I think that's fine. So guys, that's it, and that is the final result. So we created all these liquid ribbons just using these modifiers, right? So with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.